Sam Amick, a few minutes left with the senior NBA writer for The Athletic. Let's cycle back, tongue-in-cheek reference to the Deandre Ayton sweepstakes. And again, social media, people going nuts, trying to read into things that either make sense to read into, but, Ayton showing up from what appears to be a nice vacation to Jamaica, fresh off of the PJ at the FBO there, maybe in Kingston, I don't know, but wearing a Dodger hat. And everyone's like, oh, there we go. Lakers need him.
Yeah.
You know what? I mean, honestly, listen, we know his troubles, and now if you will, a journey. He's close to journeyman. I don't know, but he's teetering on that edge. All kidding aside, don't you think Luka and LeBron would be like, let's go, let's get him here in purple and gold? Don't you think, Sam?
Yeah, I think Luka for sure. LeBron, I mean, I don't know if we have time to get into that one.
Please, Sam, go for it, because
a lot of question marks.
It's all tied together. It's all tied together right now.
LeBron's on his own, not quite an island. It's like a peninsula right now.
Nice.
He's gazing across the coast at Laker Nation, deciding what he thinks. The Luka thing for sure. We talk about some of the background connections that sometimes come into play. Luka has the same agent as Deandre Ayton, Bill Duffy of WME Sports. That matters, I think. All signs right now point to very likely Deandre being with the Lakers. Not official by any means. I literally just glanced at my phone to make sure nobody gave me an update.
Nice.
I had not seen the social media post with the Dodger hat. And at this point, when it comes to that aspect of what we do, it's not conspiracy theory stuff. Most of the time, these players know exactly what they're doing. So that probably is a sign. Last I checked, DeAndre is not from Los Angeles. Not sure why he's a big time Dodger fan. If he does come, it'll be an interesting one, because the Lakers, man, you talk about the knife's edge and calculated risks. They're the opposite of the Bucks right now. They have refused to go all in because they continue to have kind of dream scenarios for down the road. They are keeping their eyes on the Giannis's and the Jokic's, and they don't want to give up stuff right now that could help them down the road to make a run at those guys. And that's all well and good, but you have to make sure that Luka signs his extension in August. You got to make sure he's feeling good about things. And you got to not take anything for granted in terms of what's in front of you right now in the next season and a half. So, DeAndre could fit fine. Right now, he has had one of the more troubled careers that we've ever seen from a number one pick. It's not completely bust territory, but man, it's not great. Our Jason Quick at The Athletic just had a story the other day, pulling the curtain back a little bit on why Portland decided to do what they did. And it wasn't the most flattering stuff. So I think with that in mind, if he goes to the Lakers, a little bit like Luka, I know it's weird to put them in the same sentence. They could both have that chip on their shoulder, time to rehab my image and my reputation type energy, and maybe it turns out to be a good fit. And the Lakers are desperate. I mean, they got Jake LaRavia, but they're mostly vacant at that center spot right now. They need something desperately, and if he could turn things around with them, that would be great for them.
So before I let you go, explain your LeBron's on a peninsula comment, and I guess that if you can also weave in your interpretation of Rich Paul's statement that read, if you didn't, when I saw Rich Paul's statement placed in front of me, I was saying, if you didn't give me the context about whether LeBron's staying or going, just reading that statement, I'd say this was him saying goodbye. So what's your 2 cents on all of that? It might be,
and I don't. We're not there yet. I mentioned the other day that the tone of it, only time will tell if it was a goodbye letter. It might end up aging like it was one when we look back on it. I don't know what to make of it. I think he's surveying options, but he doesn't have many. Again, it goes back to the CBA. It's not as simple, even for a guy like LeBron, excuse me, to wave his magic wand and go where he wants. I'm going to steal something from some of my buddies at ESPN, the Hoop Collective guys on their podcast, where they talk about actions over words. And it's something that stuck in my head recently. The Lakers, as I reported the other day, they did not discuss any contract situation with LeBron that went beyond this season. That is the action that speaks volumes about how they see him right now, which is their ideal scenario was going to be that he announced his retirement and allowed them to celebrate him for the entire year. And that would have been the cleanest, easiest way for this relationship to come to an end. his desire to continue playing, which is obviously his right, will potentially be problematic, where they just have to reach a point where, they can't continue doling out $50+ million in the kind of way to him. So that's where I think he's looking at everything, monitoring, and we'll see where it goes. But it does feel a little crunchy and dicey at the moment.
Screw it. Let's just start something. Player coach for the Knicks. What do you think, Sam? They could use LeBron. They need a coach.
Mike Brown's not happy with you right now, Rich. He's getting near the finish line.
Is this it? Is this it? Have we found one? Is it Mike Brown? Have we found one?
I think we're getting there. I mean,
okay.
We'll see. He's supposed to meet with James Dolan potentially today, trying to get clarity on that.
Right.
He is the clear front runner, and it does seem like all the energy from the front office and the organization is headed in Mike's direction. There's still been some other names attached. James Borrego, obviously Taylor Jenkins was in the mix, but Mike seems pretty far out ahead. But the James Dolan factor looms, and we'll see what Jim is feeling.
The looming Dolan factor. That might be a good fantasy team name right there. You can write that one down. Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.